Science is objective, realistic, and trustworthy discipline. Only facts can explain science. However, would you believe that our science sometimes lies? Actually, it does. Here, we are going to reveal the force of the science. We call them fake sciences. In other words, pseudoscience. Actually, these fake sciences are rampant in our daily life. So, our group is going to introduce about most interesting examples about fake sciences in our daily life. Then, here is our amazing topics. First, the myth of the fan death. Second, the water with emotions. Third, the truth of germanium. After watching this video, you will be able to avoid from being fooled by false information. Also, your knowledge will be richer than before. Then, let's start with the myth of the fan death. It's time to be wise.
Have you ever heard about the myth of the death of a fan? The myth is from the Republic of Korea. This means that when you sleep in a closed room while fan is turned on towards your face, you can sleep in that. People who believe the myth is true argue that there is scientific knowledge that can prove the cause of the death of a fan. Their opinion is that sleeping in a closed room while fan is running on, it can cause the breathing problem with high temperature suffocation. If you turn on the fan in the summer, it is mistaken for the temperature to decrease even if the indoor temperature does not decrease. However, under high temperature air, it may cause breathing difficulties or increase the degree of O2 dislocation of hemoglobin, which may lead to asphyxiation in several cases. Proper example for this, you can imagine about sleeping in a hot dry sauna. However, this is actually wrong thought. From past to now, none of the people died from breathing problems with high temperature suffocation due to the use of a fan in a closed room. Even though fan is placed at the beside of person and blows into the face, it is rare to cause breathing difficulties. The myth death of a fan quite sounds realistic and convincing, but the fact is that there is actually no problem whether you turn on a fan while you are sleeping in closed room.
The pseudoscience that I will introduce is related to water. We've heard that water crystal structures change if you say good or bad things about it. And in fact, we know that if we say good things or bad things about water, the crystal structure of the water changes. But it's just pseudoscience. Imura Masaru, author of Water Knows the Answer, argued that water decisions vary depending on whether you use positive and negative languages in the book. Imura argues that water crystals depend on language use. An example similar to Imura's claim is the growth of plants and onions. You would have believed that onion growth depends on what language you use. We must have had experiments learning about this fact, and experimenting at school when we were young. And even after this experiment, they would have believed that water-related pseudoscience was true. The reason why you came to believe in this water-related pseudoscience was because the online community at the time experimented with this theory in onions and plants. And when the reviews that it actually grew up well, you came to believe it was real. Do you think plants can understand human words? Of course you will answer this question, no. As such, it is nothing but pseudoscience that the crystal structure of water depends on what language it uses for water and what language it uses for onions and plants.
Have you ever heard about the positive effect of germanium? People sometimes buy germanium-related products at a high price and they want to experience their efficacy. Let me introduce my experience. When I went to Saipan, I had a chance to wear a germanium bracelet. I didn't feel anything different, but kept hearing the salesman product introduction. He listed the good effects of the product and recommended buying a germanium bracelet even if I don't buy it here. If so, what effects of germanium fascinates people and why the salesman recommends me to buy this? It is known that the germanium-related products, such as germanium bracelets or germanium necklaces, controls allergy, joint inflammation, pain, cancer, and dementia. Dealers often introduces that the anion from germanium increases the concentration of electrons in the blood, so it contributes to remove free radicals in the body and prevent aging. They also claim that it has a medical credibility and show us that the research papers exist. But those are fake. In fact, the health effectiveness of germanium has never been scientifically proven. Furthermore, the research papers were manipulated. It is said that the germanium supplement food has been created in Japan in 1970s, and the kidney function insufficient became as a side effect. Under these circumstances, it was only a business tactic that has tempted people who are not familiar with germanium to encourage their purchases as products by contacting with the skin, not as health supplements. If you are not going to buy it as a fashion item, I recommend you not to believe the efficacy of germanium and not to buy it.